Austin's dad's terrible. He's in prison.
Prison? For what?
Fraud. Embezzlement. Oh, don't worry. He was framed.
How do you know?
I framed him.
Are you looking for something to satiate your fix for entertainment on TV and/or streaming services? Have you already gone through all the old basic suspects and even binged your favorite shows multiple times already? Well, then perhaps you should go and watch something you might not have had on your radar before. We would suggest Ginny and Georgia, a dramatic thriller that released in February of this year and went straight to the Netflix top 10 list in terms of views, and likely will be getting a renewal soon after, which is pretty impressive. And if you have already watched it, you're waiting for season 2 eagerly. So allow us to show you 8 things to expect from Ginny and Georgia season 2. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 8, what is Ginny and Georgia?
This is the new thing you're doing now? Hate on mom? Come on. This isn't us. We're like the Gilmore Girls, but with bigger boobs.
I don't know about that, Georgia. I mean, come on, Lorelai was pretty fine thick, you know what I'm saying?
Netflix's newest offering, Ginny and Georgia, could have been an excuse for a TV show that desired to be like so many shows before it, and getting just enough views to get a few more seasons to scratch that itch that some people have with genre. Instead, showrunner Deborah J. Fisher and creator Sarah Lampert stuffed the series to the brim with interesting things and twists. Episode after episode is an exercise in whiplash. The title characters cycle between love interests, varying degrees of deception, new friendships, a mayoral election, and even criminal activity. In short, Ginny and Georgia is a half thriller, half coming-of-age story with little sprinkles of comedy in between those serious moments. It's a show that isn't like other shows out there, and thus people want to see more. And given how things ended in season 1, the desire for answers and to see the characters in action more is appealing. Although Netflix hasn't picked up the show for any additional seasons yet, another one seems all but confirmed. Typically, Netflix waits at least a month to gauge the reception of the show before renewing it for a second season, even in the case of instant classics like Bridgerton. And while it hasn't done those kinds of numbers in terms of viewing, it did go and enter the top 5 of popular shows in 2021 as a whole. Netflix wouldn't want to cancel a show that so many people are talking positively about, you know? Number 7, My Little Runaways.
Met your mom last night.
Yeah, well, she can be very friendly.
She asked me for weed. She wasn't that friendly.
You know, she's always 4 steps ahead of everybody.
I don't know about you, but discovering your mom is a murderer would really throw you in for a loop.
I've done things I'm not proud of.
Season 1 had a lot of twists and turns that wowed many fans, but the season finale made everyone's jaw drop and wonder a big question. Did Ginny and Austin really run away? Just as important as that is where they are planning on going. It is a very important question and one that needs an answer. In an interview with TV Line, they cleared up the confusion about where Ginny is going. When she's packing her bag, she grabs the book that Zion gives her, and if you were paying attention, when Zion arrives and is giving her the book, you know that he included an address. He has that secret coded message in it, and she finds out that his address is to his Boston apartment. Something is pretty reasonable to assume that Ginny might be headed towards Zion. And if that is true, then that means that season 2 will likely start with a major scenery change, and that could affect a lot of what is going on with the series for a while. Or perhaps this is a feint to open it up to new possibilities. Hard to say at present. Number 6, Meg.
No good gays here. You are going to love my friends, okay? So that's Nora, that's Jordan, that's Brody, that's Hunter, and this is Abby. Guys, this is Jenny. She is my new neighbor. She's from Texas, and I'm in love with her, so you'll need to worship her and be nice.
For many fans, it was heartbreaking when Meng broke up over Jenny's big secret. On the night before Max's big play, he found out that her twin brother Marcus was hooking up with her new best friend Ginny. However, Ginny had never once mentioned anything about Marcus and that she was dating Hunter. Max felt betrayed, as you might expect, and things went south from there, as they always do. When she brought it up to the group, Ginny assumed it was Abby who told Max because she saw the two kiss privately. It was then that Max found out that Abby also knew about this secret. From then on, it was Max and Nora against everyone else. So thus, many are wondering whether the gang will get back together in season 2, or when Ginny inevitably returns, things only get worse. The latter is more likely given the show, but hey, you never know. Number 5, Georgia's not so spotless past.
Hi, Mr. Officer. What was with you?
Hi,
Mr. Officer, you sound like a bad porn. I could use a good pat down. Been a while.
Ginny and Georgia could essentially be seen as a murder mystery because of Georgia's past with killing. It is assumed early on that Georgia killed her ex-husband Kenny by crushing up a poisonous flower in his morning smoothie. But as the series goes on, it looks like Georgia married an older man as a teenager to regain custody of Ginny when she was a toddler. Shockingly, in order to get out of that marriage, it looks like Georgia killed him as well by crushing up pills in his drink. With 2 dead ex-husbands behind her, will Paul find out his new fiance's past? Or just as important, will she have to find a reason to go and kill Paul? Georgia is absolutely a wild card, and with her children running away from her, you could argue that she is going to be more unhinged than ever. And that means she could lash out at people like Paul or others who question her past, her raising of her kids, and more. There's a lot that could go wrong here, especially with another character poking around in her life. Number 4, Gabriel's investigation.
What'd you do with that body, Georgia? I know you're responsible for digging it up.
Pretty, aren't they? I love fireworks. I find it takes something that big and bright to really scatter the ashes of the past.
When Kenny dies unexpectedly and Georgia flees the scene after his death with all of his money, Kenny's first wife assumes foul play is involved. She hires a private investigator, Gabriel, to look into Georgia Miller's life and to pull up dirt from her past. Georgia always felt like someone was watching her when she had moved to Wellsbury, and when she finally found out who Gabriel was and what he was doing, she kept him at arm's length. By the end of the season, he found out that Georgia wasn't just married to Kenny, she was also married to another man who died unexpectedly. Being as he's a detective, it's very fair to say that he's going to make some connections on his own about his coincidence, and that could lead to him going to his client and revealing things about Georgia. Or if he were to find out more about Georgia, she could do something to him to ensure his silence. There's a lot of ways this could play out in season 2 depending on how the writers want to handle it. Number 3, another move in store.
Ginny and Georgia Season 2 will definitely happen, and this unofficial confirmation occurs following the issue about the show after Taylor Swift spoke about it, particularly about a lazy, deeply sexist joke about her. Ginny and Georgia lead Antonia Gentry have thanked fans for their love and support.
Georgia has moved around her entire life, and that didn't stop when she had kids. If anything, she moved around more when she had children to run away from her demons. When the family moved from the South to New England, it was an eye-opening transition, but a welcomed one. Ginny and Austin judged Wellsbury, but ended up falling in love with it. Sadly, Ginny and Austin's lives fall apart as Georgia's is getting better, which caused a lot of problems, including that runaway moment. With all that's going on, it's apparent that another move may happen, but will Ginny allow it? Or maybe she'll run away again if Georgia tries to pull something. Hard to say. Number 2, Ellen.
Acknowledge me, damn it!
Alright, I'm grounded. Hey, but when's dinner though? Because I'm really hungry.
Ellen was Georgia's first friend in Wellsbury. She was her neighbor, her friend, and the mother of Ginny's best friend. Ellen was Georgia's only ally, but by the end of the season, Ellen found out that her son was sleeping with Georgia's daughter. When Ellen told Georgia about it, Georgia wasn't surprised. She already saw Marcus sneaking into Ginny's bedroom and put everything together. Knowing that Georgia had this kind of information and didn't tell her about it made Ellen angry, which is fair to be honest here. With Georgia's mental state being in question for season 2, and now without her friend, you have to wonder what Ellen's role will be in season 2. Number 1, Joe and Georgia.
Thanks, Joe.
Do I know you?
I'm Joe, by the way.
Hi, Joe. I'm Georgia.
I don't know, do you?
Right, name tag. Duh.
In a series of flashbacks, viewers find out that Georgia and Joe actually knew each other. When Georgia was on the run as a teenager, she ran into Joe at a truck stop. He saw a lonely Georgia standing there and offered half of his sandwich to her. They had a sweet conversation and appeared to have an instant connection. Georgia told Ginny it was the nicest someone had ever been to her. When they moved to Wellsbury, it became obvious that Joe, the cafe owner, was the same Joe that Georgia met as a teen. Joe had clear feelings for Georgia, but every time he tried to act on it, he was interrupted. Season 2 will likely build upon that, or maybe Georgia's past will come to haunt Joe. And what about Joe himself? Well, there's still more to learn about him. As you can see, Georgia's relationships with people are a focal point in many ways for what's to come, especially with her kids leaving her. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the second season of Ginny and Georgia and how things might turn out for the characters in terms of story and development? Do you think that there is more that is going to happen in season 2 than we realized? What do you think will happen to Ginny and Georgia once things start to hit the fan? Let us know in the comments below, be sure to subscribe, and we will see you next time on the channel.